I heard you the first time. Quite the little climb, aren't you? How old are you, boy?
10.
10. The things I do for love.
I'm sorry for what I did to you.
You weren't sorry then. You were protecting your family.
I'm not that person anymore.
You still would be, if you hadn't pushed me out of that window. And I would still be Brandon Stark.
You're not?
No. I'm something else now.
You're not angry at me.
I'm not angry at anyone.
Why didn't you tell them?
You won't be able to help us in this fight if I let them murder you first.
What about afterwards?
How do you know there is an afterwards?
Every human being experiences physical growth and mental development throughout his life. The ultimate mental development for each person can be called the birth of her again or rebirth. But unfortunately, the rebirth is not experienced by everyone. Physical mental development begins without will. But the birth begins again when a person begins to study and recognize himself. In the rebirth, man comes to himself and analyzes his personality. He suddenly and unbelievingly realizes that two opposing personalities, good and bad, have been with him at timeline of his life. He thought of himself well before, but now his mistakes are revealed to him. Whatever the man analyzes of his character more, he finds more good and bad things in the timeline of his life. At this time, the memory of the person becomes more active and reveals more mistakes than his past deeds. Then the hapless man tries to get rid of his mistakes. Of course, separating from the ugly acts and mistakes of the past is inevitable.
These memories. The girl. My daughter. I want you to remove them.
I can't. Not without destroying you. Your memories are the first step to consciousness. How can you learn from your mistakes if you can't remember them?
It's going to be like this. The memory becomes more active and reminds a more ugly act of the past for the person. He becomes aware of his ignorance, then gets sad. Then groan and moan fills inside man. In this time something so-called doom of conscience will create, and he blames himself and his ignorance. Then he repeats the words of the elders in this regard, that the torment of conscience is worse than death in the too hot desert. It is here that the hapless person is looking for a remedy. The great thinker, like Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi, Baqi, born September 30, 1207, Bach, says, "When I cried alas, my alas became a rope, and the rope was let down into my well. I clutched that rope and climbed out. I became glad and strong and stout and rosy." I'm like someone who fell in the well. I thought of the timeline of my life, and I was sad and frustrated for my misfortune and for my mistake. My conscience awakened and cried. I said to myself, if I could be saved from the well, I do a good work against any bad work. For every mistake, I do good things. Thinking about good things made me hope. Hope, like a rope, got out me of the well. In this way, he finds out that he must first forgive himself and love himself. This is an important step to escape from his past. In the next step, he learns to love others and forgive them too. Let's remember, we do not mean forgiving bad people. We do not mean trusting of bad people. We should not waste our time to hate bad guys. Hate is a waste of time. Because hatred eliminates the calmness of the heart, so keep your heart free from hate. Then the human relationship with flowers, plants, stars, galaxies, and etc. will be along with kindness. The rebirth finds out that hatred and grudge is for those who cannot love themselves and others. And finds out that the change of any event comes from himself. And his success and his failure comes from himself too. The rebirth understands the truth, and becomes aware of his responsibility to the universe. He always appreciates the people, the events, and the conditions that he faces. The Rebirth finds out that his mistakes have been helpful in raising his awareness. He tries to do something that benefits everyone. The founder of the Nobel Prize is just one of those born of his own. All the influential people in the world are people who have been born twice. The first time from the mother and second time from themselves.